What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday evening here in the basement of Herman's Hideaway. This is Music Buzz Live Radio. My name is Moose, along with Chad, Drew, and CT back in the box.
Hey, yo.
We are lifted, as always, by Evergreen Apothecary and the lovely people of Mary's Medicinals. We want to thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We've got an exciting program. We've got a master grower coming in here in just a few minutes for the hashtag Pot Talk.
Hell yeah.
We've also got Our Generation coming on. I believe this is their second time. Chris, they were down here a few months back.
Yeah, they've been here before.
And they've since played at Herman's at least twice, probably, right?
Yeah, they play here a lot. They're kind of like one of the Mile High Scenesters bands that we feature quite a bit.
Cool. Well, we're excited to have those kids in. They are better every time I hear them.
Very exciting.
Trying to work out the kinks with the feedback. Check it 1 2.
Check it.
1 2. Check 1 2. I think it's good. We're gonna see how long now. The counting game is on as to how long this structure of microphones is going to be up in the ceiling before it comes crashing down.
Well, no, we hit 2x4. Jaime and I put it in there.
Oh, you re-drilled up and made it stronger?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're in, dude.
All right, so the microphones are good.
For at least another month.
If Jaime was working on it, I have faith that it's good.
I have no faith at all.
Chad, Chad's not so sure.
I don't know. I'm kind of worried about it.
Hey, we also have, of course, Chloe and Liz are going to come down.
Yep. The spokes girls are coming on shortly. Closer to 7 o'clock, they'll be on for our trademark segments, the Hack It or Exit, Motel Minute, and we're going to do a band together talk as well in the 7 o'clock hour.
Hey,
I know that we've got something that's a little unusual today. We've got a music video for Hack It or Exit.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had a submission that was 2 music videos, so we've selected one of them. Maybe we'll do the other one next week, but we've got that along with the typical MP3 style.
I always love the videos.
Plus, we got Ryan from iVapor Depot coming down.
That's right.
Across the street in the National Speaker building.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's going to come down and looking for the National Speaker logo.
How exactly does that go down? So they've got a vapor store inside a speaker store.
It's kind of like 2 different sections of the building. So there's the one section that's the main entrance, and then there's like a side building where it was just offices, but he took over some of the front offices. Because obviously the vapor, the e-cigarette stuff doesn't take up too much. He has some display cases and whatnot in there. Pretty cool.
So it's kind of like when you go to like a Walmart and there's a bunch of other stores in the front.
Yeah, that works.
Pretty close to that.
Not that I endorse going to Walmart, because I don't.
This is the uncorporate version of it.
Yeah, it's like a good local music supporting version of that.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And everybody should always try the e-cigarette. I've been using that. That totally got me off.
It got you off the actual thing, right?
For sure. I was smoking for like 20 years, man. So
20 years,
and now I haven't had a cigarette in over 6 months because
Congratulations,
of it. So,
Chad. That's
right?
awesome.
What?
I think all 3 of us are former smokers in here. I quit a few years ago, so it's been a while. But I was actually laying on my couch last night or the night before, and I was thinking about quitting smoking. And like now these days, I don't really look back and think much about it. But it really was like a cool thing to do.
Yeah,
right.
It was a thing that I never really put much time into thinking. There's a lot of people that try to quit and then fail and then go back to it or whatever. Like I never was one of those guys. I just always smoked since from sophomore year of high school or so up until I was about 28, 29.
Right on.
And I just decided I was over it and I stopped.
That's important.
I had to wean myself off. It's not like I just all of a sudden never smoked another cigarette again, but
I don't know how successful that cold turkey thing is, dude, but I mean, I know that after smoking for 20 years and trying to attempt a couple of times to quit, having something that can actually help you out by getting some nicotine in your system in order to not turn into a dick that you are when you don't have it.
Yeah, and for me, it was kind of like a stress level thing,
Yeah.
And I remember getting out of a long-term relationship. I was burning through over a pack a day
for sure.
At least a few months after that.
Yeah.
We're all just dicks anyway, except Chad. Chad's not a dick.
I try not to be too much of a dick, but no, I still had my nicotine.
Definitely a dick. I'm a dick, I think. I can be a dick.
I feel like Chris and I, though, are dicks in different ways, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're more, like, up front of a dick sometimes. I feel like people view me as a nice guy. Not that they don't view you as a nice guy, but I think that maybe the image you're portraying, or like you're more of like a
in your face kind of dick.
as you always say, shoot it from the hip.
Yeah, dude. When you got to be a dick, you got to be a dick.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the only way you can accomplish what you need for yourself and the people around you. You have to fucking whip it out, dude, and be like, fuck you. This isn't how it's going down.
with the interactions that you have on a daily and every minute basis, I can only imagine the only way that you can get through the shit is to be a dick sometimes. Because I've seen some fools come up that doesn't even really need any of Chris's time because what they're talking about is just bullshit.
Yeah, totally.
And you're like, really, dude? Do you not understand? He's in the middle of 50 things right now, trying to book a show and all that.
50%, man, of the shit.
For sure.
Yeah, totally.
Tim, you're a nice dick, though.
I'm a nice dick.
You are. Whenever you need to be a dick, you just kind of be the dick real quick, and then we're back to being cool.
Right?
You know?
I'll take that.
Let me get the dick out of the way real quick.
I'll take that.
Hell yeah.
Get onto the vagina. I had an example of me being a dick. I got to find it, though, real quick.
That'd be awesome.
I wish I had video of it, but no, I have mental video of lots of times of you being a dick.
Yeah? Where's this?
Like the other night when you wouldn't give the guy the Wi-Fi passcode.
Yeah, that was messed up. But he was not nice. He was not nice. Wait, where's this guy
He
at?
deserved me being a dick to him.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is Music Buzz Live Radio. Real quick, we want to talk about Evergreen Apothecary before we go to break. They're located right next to us at Herman's Hideaway, 1568 South Broadway. Those of you that are regulars of our show know that. But please keep in mind that you do get 10% off if you go in there and say World Viral. They'll take it off. They will definitely give you the best deal that you're going to get anywhere in town.
Without a doubt. And even with all of the new edible regulations that came down this weekend, we still have a pretty nice selection, and we're letting all of the vendors that we had entrusted to have on the shelves come back in with their compliant packaging. So we still do have some chocolates. We have some baked goods. We got some hard candies and gummies. We got some drinks. We still have a nice selection, but as the companies that make the edibles come more on board with their packaging and stuff, I'm sure that our shelves will fill right back up. So
what's the deal with that? Like, as of Sunday, right, was when it went into effect?
As of Sunday, February 1st.
So everything that was on the shelves had to go away unless it was in new packaging?
Yeah, basically, this is one of the first times that the city and the meds have decided to take, instigate, or instill a new rule, and just like, this is where it's going to start right now. Usually, they'll give us a time to kind of go through some product or everything or anything like that, but now they've decided to change the packaging to make sure that everything is clearly labeled, to make sure that if you have an edible that is more than one dose, it is properly marked as far as being able to, dose yourself properly with 1 or 2 doses, however much. So, and it has to be in compliant packaging for child-proof purposes and all that stuff too. So they basically just took all of the edibles and said, this is what you have to do. And some companies were already doing that, but some companies needed to get more on board with it. So I think it's definitely a good step in the right direction for the industry, because I think edibles has been the only part that's been under scrutiny. So to be able to have a little more regulation on it is going to only make things better.
I was just going to say that I think it's honestly a good thing. I'm sure there's some people that are running around like a madman right now trying to get all their stuff in line, but overall I think it's going to be a positive change.
For sure, without a doubt.
I'm flashing a picture for all the people at home of the renovation in the not too distant past of what's going on over there next door to Evergreen Apothecary. That's going to be cool, man. When's that going to be done, Chad?
It's supposed to be done here in the next, they said 5 or 6 weeks. The snow always makes it so that it, you can't get as much work done. You got to make sure that all the permits are good along the way and everything. But they're thinking 5 to 6 weeks. I know that in the middle of construction, they decided on a couple of new things. One of them being something simple like the electricity. So they rerouted the electricity differently and had to pour more of a better foundation to make it better for future use. So sometimes things like that will delay it an extra week or two to make sure that it's up to par and perfect, because this is going to be a building that's going to be shining for many, many years to come.
Badass.
So, yeah.
And of course, if you follow Punxsutawney Phil, we're going to have another 6 weeks of winter.
Punxsutawney.
Is that pronounced correctly?
It's Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like New England style,
I like
right?
Punxsutawney.
I don't know.
Punxsutawney sounds way better, dude.
It's Punkatronic.
Punxsutawney? One of them.
All right, well,
New
we'll
England
figure
words.
that out. But anyways, we'll be back with Pot Talk. Stick around just a minute. This is World Viral.
World Viral.
Hello, everyone. This program was brought to you by National Speaker and Sound. Colorado's leading provider of pro audio music equipment. Right across the street from Herman's Hideaway at 1559 South Broadway.
National speaker, where the pros shop.
World Viral.
National speaker and sound.
This is Music Buzz Live Radio, elevated by Evergreen Apothecary.
National speaker and sound with a Pro Shop, Colorado's leading supplier of pro audio musical equipment with the highest quality guitars, basses, and amps on the planet. From a single cable to PA and lighting systems, DJ and recording equipment. National speaker and sound represents over 90 brands. EV, JBL, Mackie, PRS, Nash, Fox, and Mesa Boogie for the serious musician. National speaker and sound service departments are unrivaled in the region with our certified electronics repair and speaker reconing. Our commercial division is Colorado's leading audiovisual installation contractor. Shop with the experts or visit us online at nationalspeaker.com.
Herman's Hideaway on the corner of Iowa and Broadway. Your favorite independent anti-corporate venue featuring Westward's best patio. Now serving award-winning food. From metal to jazz to hip-hop, Herman's Hideaway has something for everyone. And if you want to book your act at Herman's Hideaway, email booking@hermanshideaway.com or call 303-777-2535. There's only one venue, family owned and operated for over 50 years. Holding it down in Denver. Go to hermanshideaway.com for more information and show listings.
Forgive her. These broken Chris
No.
was here.
No, he was here.
Music Buzz Live Radio. We're here live on POTTALK.
Pot
This
Talk.
is World Viral TV. Chad,
Hell yeah.
who we got with us today?
So today we have Greg Fortemps. He is the COO of the Grow for Evergreen Apothecary and Colorado Harvest Company. So that basically is a nice long title for you're in charge of the Grow.
Yes, it is. I am in charge of all the growing operations for both the dispensaries. So it's 2 stores right now, and we're also expanding into 2 more stores in Aurora. We've
Right.
got 2 of the 22 licenses. I think that's what the number is for Aurora. So we're psyched about that.
Very cool.
Is that going to double your workload?
Yeah, it's going
Are
to
they gonna
double.
let you bring a couple guys on?
Yeah, just a couple. No, we'll have to get quite a few more people. I mean, we're in the process of building a 35,000 square foot cultivation facility, 2 stories, 500 1,000 watt lights. It's pretty much going to be a 7-day-a-week operation. Probably not 24 hours a day, but we're going to have a lot of work to do there. We're taking down a lot of product on a weekly basis where we need to replenish that space with more plants so that we can harvest more because the demand's through the roof right now. And, so there's a lot going on. We're really busy, which is good. We
So,
like that.
correct me if I'm wrong. Is this new warehouse? And I don't know if this is just a rumor, but I was pretty excited when I heard it. Is there actually going to be some outdoor?
Yep, actually, you're right. We're also, in addition to that, on that property, we have a couple extra acres that we can work with where we're going to be doing greenhouses. So we're excited about that. Some nice outdoor crops. We haven't had a chance to
Wow.
do that.
Cool. So what's the security like on something like that? Then?
Security's pretty intense. I mean, there's
Yeah.
all the MED regulations that we have to follow as far, everything from our garbage that has to be weighed 5 times and put in secure containers to multiple cameras throughout the grows outside, security systems for our CO2 systems that are running in all of the grow rooms in case, anything happens. We need to have some kind of notice that we have to get out of the building. We're going to have full-time security guards at these facilities at all times, 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
Maybe
as
not
you
when
have
we're
to.
there. Actually, there will be somebody when we're there because there's going to be a lot of transporting finished product to these new grows. So we always have a security guard in the car when we're delivering the products to our different stores.
That's one of the nice things about our company is that I think that when it comes to security, I'm not trying to entice anybody to be like, oh, check us out and try us. But I think that we're much more secure than a lot of the other operations that I've seen that are in town currently operating.
And I've always kind of wondered, how does that go down when you're transporting? Like, what kind of a vehicle are you guys using?
Man, I have seen everything. So I'll let Greg take that one.
Well, typically our transports go in the employee's car. We have a couple employee cars that our managers have that do most of the transports of the product from the grows to the dispensaries. And on every one of those transports, a security guard will accompany that manager along with the manifest, whereas you have to have information that states what time you're leaving and what car with what license plate,
Yeah,
what route you're
totally.
taking, your estimated time of arrival, departure, blah, 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 blah. But, it's, so that the MED always has something on file in case something happens.
Right.
So very secure. We try to keep it as secure as possible.
Way different than when the industry first started. I remember when it first started, man, it was like nobody knew about the security. I remember working for a guy when I first started out that actually had like a gang of like 6 like gangsters that would roll in, dude, just big old fools you would never want to mess with, dude.
Yeah.
And they'd like walk him out with his briefcases and shit, dude.
People
So-
driving with like a swarm of cars around them.
like the president's going by.
I'm glad that that's not the case anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
it's right. Now it's way more legit than it has ever been, and hopefully continuing to be more and more legit because we want to be regulated. We want to be able to do what we do, and
For sure.
but we also want it to be regulated and do it in accordance with all state laws. Of
course.
So.
So being a kid from Belgium.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
right?
That's right.
How's-
Yeah.
Where in Belgium?
Little kid from Belgium. Born in Brussels, Belgium, and
right on.
lived there till I was around 8 years old. Then moved here to the States. So,
Okay.
Very cool. What do you think
U.S.
about?
citizen though, all the way.
Hell yeah, for sure. Would you have ever imagined that you got to hold the title that you hold right now? and do the job you do?
No. It really is something that has just happened throughout the time. I always, I started off, or before I was doing this, I was selling hotels, the real estate, and the business as well. So it was, kind of business mergers and acquisitions a little bit, and was really getting sick of that.
For sure.
But also the financial world ended back, what was that, 2007?
2007, 8, 9, right in there. Yeah.
And, all the hotel values went straight down the line. There was going to be no acquisitions. The cycle was going to take forever to come back. Obviously, as a broker, you live on bonus and commissions for that. And all of this was starting out here in Colorado, and I had lived here for a long time before. I was in Chicago at that time, but I'd lived in Colorado for a long time before that, and had experimented, recreationally with marijuana and with growing a little bit here, and decided that I just had to come back with everything that was going on. I was just very excited with the whole industry, everything that was going on. So, no, it just sort of fell into place.
So have you always? It sounds like, have you always had a good green thumb? You always taking care of a couple girls?
I mean, within reason. I mean, I've been in the industry for 5 years, and before that, I was a hobbyist.
Right.
Had to learn a lot. I'm all self-taught. So
that's very awesome.
How one thing I've always wondered is how does the resume presentation go for a job like that?
Well,
Did you have to put in a resume?
Yeah, actually, I had a resume, and now these days, it's people are expecting a lot out of your cultivation resume in this state, in this industry, because there's a lot of talented growers out here in Colorado. There always has been.
But how would you prove beforehand that you actually knew what you're doing?
Right. Well, right now,
obviously you can't say, "Oh, I worked here doing this."
You'd be like, "Dude, check out this shit that I grew." No.
Right. You mean right when the industry was starting?
Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit difficult, and people were a little more wary of letting other people know, exactly what's going on.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But it was a kind of a free-for-all also. I always refer to that part of the industry as backpacks to briefcases, because to be honest with you, obviously things have gotten tightened up a lot more, which is what they needed to do. But back then, you could pretty much wholesale your product to anybody, really. If you were a home grower and you thought that your shit was the best, you could just bring it to any shop and be like, "Yo, do you want to buy some of this?" Am I right?
Right, yeah, totally. And that's what you saw a lot, is a lot of people with backpacks. There were so many growers trying to, go into these dispensaries, and they were buying it at that time because you didn't have to have your own grow attached to your dispensary.
Right.
So at that time, it really was a free for all. So
backpacks to briefcases. Hell yeah, for sure. So do you only do soil? Do you do hydro at all?
No, what we use is cocoa, which is a soilless medium, and that's I have done hydro and I have done organic before, and dirt and all of that. But right now in this commercial operation, I feel that as far as the costs are concerned and the results, cocoa is a good medium.
I agree. I think that. Yeah, he's definitely one of the best growers on a commercial level, which is totally different. I could only imagine. I imagine if you had the setup to do hydro or dirt or anything at home, you probably produce like a beautiful girl. But on a commercial level, I could definitely see cocoa is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of things that you can't do at home that you have to do in a commercial environment. It's also a lot more difficult just because of the sheer number of plants that you're dealing with and strains. I mean, we have 70 strains, rotating on the shelves at all times, as well as about 10 to 15 that I'm always working on to try to bring to the market. So, it's just a lot of work. Really what it comes down to is just being proactive, having the experience, and having a great team, and also being able to manage all that chaos in a nice, organized manner. And that just takes, experience, basically, and just a lot, and failure too. I mean,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
you have to learn somehow.
I bet there's a good amount of failure. There's a little learning curve, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is, just like with anything else, and there's always something to learn. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, but I mean, as the industry expands, there's always new things that you have to, stay on top of to try to compete in this tough business environment.
Right. So do you mentioned something about, you have a little bit of a section of being able to kind of experiment with. Do you get a chance to put in your terms or your ideas as far as the crossbreeding and back cross?
it up a
Yeah,
little bit.
do you get to mix it up and be like, let's try this shit?
Yeah. I mean, in reality, our production facilities have very little space for that experimenting because most everything that we're using has to be used in for a production product. But we're looking at some options right now where there might be some space where we can do a little bit more of that to have some more house strains and try to build up on house strains and just have them be more proprietary and shape them more the way that we want to, not only on the potency and the quality of it, but also on the pest resistance and disease management as well.
Okay. Do you feel like Colorado people here are becoming weed snobs, like the way that they're beer snobs, with all the microbrews,
Pot snobs, yeah, I think so. I think that they're expecting a high quality, am I right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you see it a lot these days. I mean, there's a lot more people that, tend to think that they know a lot about it, and some of them do, obviously, and then some of them don't. But yeah, I mean, it's through the roof. But that's good for us because that means that more people are into it, and more people, are willing to try new things and go to different places, and hopefully the industry just keeps shooting through the roof, and and that's a crazy thing about the final product as well. I mean, I've looked at something and been like, oh my God, I don't like this, or tried it and said the same thing. Whereas one of my friends who has smoked for just as long ends up loving it. So it's really individualized as to what people like, because what I like, somebody else may not like, and what this particular strain makes me feel may not make you feel that way, so you may not like it. So, there are definite categories as to what strains are going to affect you in which ways, supposedly, but also mostly a lot of it depends on your nervous system and your receptors in your body and how you're going to react to it, whether you smoke a lot, whether you don't smoke a lot. All of those things come into play. So it's really been interesting sometimes when I throw a strain out there that I don't particularly like, that I hear back that it's, it was gone in 2 days or a day or whatever. So, it's interesting.
Well, you got an example of one of those? I'm just curious.
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I imagine you produce good stuff, though.
I just know, and anyone that listens to this segment every week, I'm sure knows this by now, but I like to always point out how different it is now than back in the day. Back in the day, I don't even think I ever spent 1 second thinking about what strain I was smoking.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what the difference between that strain and another strain was.
It was just like whatever dude's bringing you.
Yeah.
Whatever dude's got, dude, as long as it looks good.
Right. Beggars can't be choosers, but now that we have all these options.
Now we're teaching Timmy things about sativas, indicas, sativa dominant, hybrid, all that.
All that stuff.
I don't like this.
Yeah. It's pretty soon you guys are going to have to come up with something that's like a sampler platter, like you go to the breweries and you get the tasters.
I've heard of some ideas for that. I've been around some of them before. I think that there might be a chance that something like that might be coming on.
Strong chance.
It's like a cornucopia of cannabis.
For sure.
A cornucopia.
Yeah, and you get your little Sunday through Saturday pill bottle with a bowl in each one of them.
Don't get mad when your idea gets stolen.
No, we should trademark that. It's on air
trademark
now.
Right. Hashtag trademark.
It's archived.
Cornucopia.
So one other thing that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks also has been this new strain, Open Heart.
That's right, Open Heart, which is actually great. I just got the test results back last week, and some of them, there's 3 different phenoms that I have, and one of them came back around 19% CBD. And that's just the CBD, so, the ratio is about a 29-1 CBD to THC.
That's
so
huge.
That's through the roof.
Yeah.
And we also have another strain called Catatonic, which is also a 30-1. So we're really excited about those. And once we get to these greenhouses, we'll be doing full greenhouses of that, and sponsoring a lot more children and people that need that particular type of medicine, because it's about the same percentage as Charlotte's Web. Although there's the reports are different on basically every batch. So.
Right.
They've had some higher ones, they've had some lower ones. Really, the important thing as far as the CBD ratio is how low you can get your THC to be in that strain.
Exactly.
And so what Charlotte's Web and the Stanley brothers have been able to do, or what that strain has produced, is I think it's under 0.3% THC.
I know it was really, really low like
Yeah.
that.
And so they're having a tough time, keeping it under that, because it is tough to keep it under that. But so we're still working on trying to get our THC down a little bit. I think we're at like 0.4 on some of them, but they're still, it's still hugely beneficial.
For sure.
For people that need it, that have epilepsy and things like that.
So
I mean, I know you're really on the kind of behind the scenes half of things. I mean, you don't get to see people face to face the way that me and some of my other coworkers. Do you ever get a chance to get around a patient, a medical patient, that something that you've produced that was so badass and helped them out, and you had a chance to watch that happen?
Yeah, I mean, more so in the early days, obviously, like 5 years ago when,
Right.
Before rec and whatnot, before things got crazy.
When it
and
was
before I
strictly
got
medical.
50 phone calls per day and 30 texts per day, and, had to be less hands-on with the plants, and all of a sudden have, 20 people that you have to manage and things like that. But, yes, and that's always been very rewarding. And even to this day, that still happens. It's not so much me being face-to-face, but some of the bud tenders telling me, some of the stories that they hear, or somebody saying something. And that obviously, is mainly the reason I got into this originally. So I'm always excited to hear about that. And, really try to focus on the medical side of it. Obviously, recreational now is here.
Right.
It's here to stay. And people love that aspect of it too, and God bless them. God, however you want to smoke it, whether it be medically or recreationally, if it affects you positively, and I
Right.
have anything to do with that, me and my team, who we work very hard to try to put out the best quality product that we can. It's very labor intensive, arduous, repetitive, and so we're always happy to hear about good results from
Right.
patients, especially medical patients.
Well, I mean, just and I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, but we to know what your product does, being somebody that's been there on the front line and watched even on the recreational side, you'll still see a lot of medical patients that were a little scared to get their red cards come in. Recently, I had a lady that came in, and she had been utterly depressed for many, many years. I mean, utterly to the point of she came to me and she said, "If you don't, I've been told that if this doesn't help me, I don't know if there's anything that's going to." And she said, "Chad, please, what do you guys have that can take me out of this?" And she was all, ragged out, clothes-wise. She didn't have any makeup on. She totally sad, everything. And I hooked her up with some of your famous strawberry diesel. And she came back about 2 weeks later, and she had makeup on with a smile, all dressed up. She said, "Chad, I don't know what was in that, but man, I have a great outlook on life now."
Wow, that's
and
great
this
to
is all
hear,
because of you and your team, man.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We love, I'm glad to hear stories like that, and it's not just always, people like, "Whoa, I got so high," which is okay too.
Right, for sure. Well, we got to get you high too.
But it's always nice to hear that kind of story as well. So thanks for telling that story. That's cool.
For sure, without a doubt. I know how much your back hurts at the end of the day, and I want you to know that it's definitely worth it. So
Thank you. Yeah, we're
All right,
glad.
man. Well, thank you so much for coming down. We look forward to keeping up to date on what's going on with the Evergreen Grows.
for sure, we definitely love to have you once you got the warehouse up and rolling.
Yeah, we'll
Give us a
follow
little update on it all.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Well, this has been Pot Talk here on Music Buzz Live Radio, powered by Evergreen Apothecary and Mary's Medicinals. We'll see you just in a few minutes with Our Generation.
This is Music Buzz Live Radio, elevated by Evergreen Apothecary.
Do you want to experience the new phenomenon in Denver? The cannabis industry is alive and growing, and the best shop for your marijuana experience is Evergreen Apothecary. As seen on CNN, CNBC, CBS, and The Today Show, Evergreen Apothecary is slowly becoming the nation's go-to marijuana shop. Featured in the Denver magazine 5280, Evergreen Apothecary, the corner store of the new Green Mile, features top quality marijuana available for medical and recreational purchase. Consistency is a key, and you will find it here. Available now, smokables, edibles, concentrates, and drinkables, along with the world-renowned O.PenVape. Located on South Broadway in Iowa, the best shop in town is ready to educate and provide the exact marijuana product to fill your needs. Mention World Viral TV and receive an additional 10% off your entire order. Call us at 720-722-1227 or go to evergreenapothecary.com for more information. Evergreen Apothecary, the finest medical and recreational cannabis center in Denver.
Evergreen Apothecary.
Mary's Medicinals. To us, it's simply black and white. They've got this cannabis thing down to a science. Best known as the developer and exclusive distributor of the award-winning transdermal cannabis patch, Mary's Medicinals creates cannabis-based products including transdermal gels, topical compounds, and high bioavailability capsules. As part of its commitment to advancing the science around cannabis, Mary's has introduced Mary's Journal, the first mobile app designed to help patients track and balance the use of cannabis medicine. It's revolutionary. You can get your Mary's Medicinals at Evergreen Apothecary or go to marysmedicinals.com to find a dispensary near you.
Mary's Journal. If you're going to take care of anybody that needs this medication or you need this medication yourself, you need to download it. It'll give you different times that you can schedule for your medication. It's a fully integrated app that tracks your results.
Herman's Hideaway on the corner of Iowa and Broadway. Your favorite independent anti-corporate venue featuring Westward's best patio. Now serving award-winning food. From metal to jazz to hip-hop, Herman's Hideaway has something for everyone. And if you want to book your act at Herman's Hideaway, email booking@hermanshideaway.com or call 303-777-2535. There's only one venue, family owned and operated for over 50 years. Holding it down in Denver. Go to hermanshideaway.com for more information and show listings.